Alright, UFC Fight Night Kansas City has just finished. Well, finished a while ago. And I'll be breaking down the main card now. The prelims were actually a real treat and, well, just bizarre in some areas. So there was oddly a lot to live up to in this one. Best Fight Night main card on paper this year. And I'm excited to break this one down. As I always tend to forget to mention, I'm now on Twitter at BadMMAMath. So hit me up there if you like a bit of banter. Came in with a 5-3 record from the prelims, so let's get straight into the action. So the whole Guida family was out in force, and I was instantly thinking, retirement's coming. I got trolled really hard later on, we all did, I'll get to that. Side note, fighters, stop bringing your kids to fights. It's child abuse, and they won't look at you the same after you get flatlined. Good luck getting them to listen and go to bed after that. Anyway, this fight typified Clay's later part of his career. Tough bastard that's a little wild, dangerous, maybe not so much anymore, and tough to finish. Garcia played this smart, was far more accurate, didn't take risks, and pieced away at Guida's face all night long. Credit to Guida, he did try to mix up takedowns, but it was clear within a few minutes that he wasn't going to have the power to finish Garcia or find an effective way to take over. And rightfully, Garcia didn't want to take any risks. Nice little scrappy fight, but if you watched any minute of this fight, it was essentially the same as the other 14. I think Guida needs to stop now. He's made enough money. Garcia beat him like a drum for most of this fight. I was thinking it was 3-0, but I kind of expected Clay to get an unfair split or be given one round out of charity. I won't pick Garcia against the upper echelons of this division. He's alright. This took me to 6-3. Glad that Guida didn't get flatlined in front of his mum and kids. Kind of. The glove switch was a dirty trick. Retire, mate, or you will get taken out of there in a wooden box one day. It was also amusing the way that DC cut him off when he realized he was trolling and listing birthdays. Nice little scrap, I guess. Alright, I picked Gutierrez rather hesitantly. Munhoz is obviously dangerous and has only lost to very decent guys. Hasn't got a win since 2021 though, so difficult to pick him. Gutierrez by comparison has fought a washed Edgar and, well, fuck all else. Gutierrez did look slick early. He was picking shots, looked good with the kicks, landing punches. He looked pretty comfortable until Pedro out of nowhere caught him and sat him hard. The majority of the rest of that round then was Munhoz on top, basically controlling him, trying to find damaging strikes. Chris Gutierrez, to his credit, did manage to get to his feet, and at the end of the round finished quite well, but Munhoz clearly had won the round and now had his respect. The second and third then pretty much played out the same way. Gutierrez was very wary of the power coming back and didn't want to take risks, and he'll look back at this fight and see a massive opportunity missed. Munhoz didn't really have to do much but threaten and pick at range. He did have the more impactful moments throughout the fight. Gutierrez still is young and clearly a crisp striker. He comes from a really good gym. He'll learn from this, but what a disappointing outcome. Munhoz kills another up-and-comer and will basically be the litmus test in this division moving forward. Decent fight, fair unanimous decision, and that moved me to 6-4 and the beginning of a very bad slide. Alright, I labelled this one the War of the Dummies, and I thought it would be smart to pick the less dumb guy with the better cardio. My bad. Barbosa came into this in great shape, God bless him. He clearly must have worked hard to get so far under the weight, so this beating for him must have hurt in more ways than one. I was actually baffled when this matchup was announced to begin with. This one was over quickly. My call in this one was that Ion would either starch him early or would fuck it up and gas himself out. I foolishly went for the latter, but I told everyone to stay away from this one, so I don't feel too bad. Both men traded a little early, and Barbosa did look quite quick in there. Now, in typical Cutalaba fashion, once Barbosa was on the ground, he dove in, grabbed him, started applying ground and pound, and Barbosa just had no answer. He has really major issues on the ground and just couldn't position his way to getting up and was just eating shots. Ref had to stop the fight. Barbosa just couldn't defend himself. Ion is still a fucking idiot though. He applies the same tactic in every fight And I'm going to pick against him again, despite being wrong in this one. So, Hulk won by TKO. Bosa might get one more shot, but he's too small at heavyweight and too drained at light heavyweight. This took me to 6-5, and I really felt like, damn, I need to win 2 of the next 3 to not end this card with egg on my face. Alright, I'm going to try to not sound salty on this one, but I can already tell that I'm going to fuck that up. Jacoby has learning difficulties. It's the only explanation for some of the poor decisions he made throughout this fight. Now, I called Murzakanov, let me get the exact quote here, a fat, dumpy middleweight that is too gluttonous to cut weight and is shit. I stand by this. He did look like a world beater at times in there though, and I do think he's shite. First 2 rounds they were reasonably even on the feet, but Murzakanov got 2 impactful knockdowns which made both rounds a wash. Fine, I can accept that. By the 3rd round though, the dumpy Russian prick was clearly gassed and exhausted. Jacoby started finding the chin more, but didn't have the power left to get a knockdown. Instead, he opted to go for a takedown right at the end, which was just brain dead stupid to me at that point. And I was squirming in my seat as I watched this fight slip away. If you're tired, mate, fine. Keep picking at range and see if an opportunity presents itself. Why hug him when you're clearly 2 rounds down? For me, this was 29-28 Murzakanov, and that's how it was called. Nice win for him, and for the first time, I felt in real danger of having my first negative card of the year. I do have to mention that Dumpy said he broke his arm mid-fight. Oh, you fat liar. Shut up. Right, anyway, 6-6, moving on. Right, I originally picked Billy, and I did a last-minute U-turn after seeing the weigh-ins, and with my record as it was, I was terrified. Even more so as the fight actually got underway. Billy had a really smart game plan to start out, immediately shooting for a takedown. He failed to get it, but this seemed to be pretty wise, and despite it being really early, Edson looked like he was visibly tiring a little in there, and I mean like 1 minute and 30 seconds into the fight. They separated for a while, and Barbosa was hitting some nice shots, particularly those vicious leg kicks to the stomach, which, you know, are a Barbosa masterclass at this point. Billy went in for another takedown, which I thought was a smart choice. Edson managed to kind of skip out of it, and they were back trading with Billy throwing a nice elbow, which connected. Didn't do too much damage, but I was genuinely worried for my pick at this point. Edson was blowing hard, and we're like 2 minutes 30 in. It's embarrassing. He really needs to work on that. It's probably too late, but yeah. So like I could literally feel the sweat forming on my brow. Billy then decided to pop shots to set up takedown number 3, and he might as well have shouted out what he was intending to do because Edson clearly saw it coming, and it was obvious even to me. As silly Billy came in with a shot to set up the takedown, Edson just threw a knee right up the middle as Billy dove in, and he caught him clean on the chin. Nighty night. I really needed this one as I was in major danger of losing another one. Brilliant TKO from Edson. It took me to 7-6, and at worst I was going into the final even if I'd lost it with a 50-50 record. Thank fuck. I had 2 parlays resting on Max now. Let's go. Alright, I'm going to be real. I picked Max, and I had some decent money on him seeing this out. I did think he won, but I can understand why Allen fans are fucking annoyed. I won't break it down round by round on this video. This one deserves its own breakdown video, and I'm not the weasel. I don't have time for that shit, so I'm just going to summarize. It basically comes down to how you see the fight ultimately. Do you favor volume and pressure, which would put you in the Holloway camp, or do you favor moments of clear damage, which I'd put in the Allen camp? I thought Max won this fight, but he's clearly not the same guy anymore. Allen's stock certainly wouldn't have dropped, but they're both just in a tough spot now, especially now that he's lost to Max on paper. Max isn't going to be getting a shot either. He's obviously lost to Volkanovski 3 times. So the sad thing about this is it just felt like a waste of time. And that was my concern going into this, and feeling that Max was going to win the fight. I think going forward they need to do Ortega and Allen next, and just pray to the MMA gods that Yair manages to beat Volk somehow. I don't really see that. I mean, it is possible. Yair is amazing, but I just think Volk is that good. And this is important so we do have fresh matchups in a division that's gone a bit stagnant due to a dominant champion. What else can I say? Great card. I did pick this fight right, I felt, and this took me to 7-5, but I do wish I'd been wrong. Or was it 8-6? I can't remember. 8-6. It was 8-6. Alright, back again tomorrow for a breakdown of next week's card. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I did glance at it a few weeks ago and I'm pretty sure it sucks on paper. My record is 90-41. So I'll see you again tomorrow where I'll do the prelims, and then Tuesday where I'll do the main card. And yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend.